The second day of school started just like any other. Rosemary woke up early, prepared herself in her neat school uniform, and sat with her parents for breakfast. "You're going to have a great day," Ada said with a reassuring smile. "I hope so, Mommy," Rosemary said quietly. "Remember, just be yourself," Chike added. "You're amazing, and no one can change that." Rosemary nodded, taking her parents' words to heart. But deep inside, she still felt nervous. When Rosemary arrived at her classroom, her heart sank. Her desk was littered with crumpled papers, scribbled notes, and pencil shavings. She looked around and noticed that everyone else's desks were clean and tidy. "What is this?" she whispered to herself, her hands trembling as she began picking up the papers. Suddenly, the classroom erupted in laughter. "Look at her!" a boy shouted. "The green girl cleaning her messy desk!" Rosemary froze, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. "Why is she even here?" another girl added, her voice dripping with mockery. Rosemary couldn't take it anymore. Tears filled her eyes as she dropped the papers and ran out of the classroom. The sound of laughter followed her as she bolted down the hallway. Moments later, Miss Emma, the English teacher, walked into the classroom. She set her books on the desk and looked around. "Where is Rosemary?" she asked, her eyes scanning the room. A girl named Loda smirked and said loudly, "The green girl ran out because her type doesn't belong here." The class erupted into laughter again, their voices echoing off the walls. "Quiet!" Miss Emma said sharply, her stern gaze silencing the students. She turned to a boy sitting near the window. "Ola, go and find Rosemary. Bring her back to class." Ola nodded, standing up and heading out of the room. Ola searched everywhere, the library, the hallways, even the school garden. But Rosemary was nowhere to be found. Frustrated, he approached a group of junior students. "Have any of you seen a girl with green skin?" he asked. One of the girls nodded. "I saw her go into the restroom. She looked really upset." "Thank you," Ola said, running toward the restroom. When he got there, he stopped outside the door, unsure of what to do. He hesitated for a moment before heading back to the classroom. "Miss Emma," he said breathlessly, "she's in the restroom, but I can't go in there." Miss Emma nodded. "Thank you, Ola. I'll go and get her myself." Miss Emma entered the restroom quietly. She found Rosemary standing at the sink, washing her face. Her shoulders shook as she tried to hold back her tears. "Rosemary," Miss Emma said gently. Rosemary looked up, startled. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I couldn't stay in the class." Miss Emma walked over and placed a comforting hand on Rosemary's shoulder. "It's okay, Rosemary. I understand how you feel, but running away isn't the answer." "I feel so alone," Rosemary said, her voice breaking. "Everyone laughs at me. They don't like me because I'm different." Miss Emma pulled her into a warm hug. "Rosemary, listen to me. You are strong and you are brave. The problem isn't with you, it's with them. Sometimes people are unkind because they don't understand, but we can help them learn." Rosemary sniffled. "Do you really think they'll ever accept me?" "I believe they will," Miss Emma said firmly. "But you have to give them a chance. Come back to the classroom with me. Let's talk to them together." After a moment of hesitation, Rosemary nodded. "Okay, ma'am." When Rosemary and Miss Emma walked back into the classroom, the students fell silent. The mood in the room was tense, and several students avoided looking at Rosemary. Miss Emma stood at the front of the class, her expression serious. "Class, we need to have a talk," she began. "What happened today was unacceptable. Treating someone unkindly because they are different is never okay." The students shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Rosemary is new here," Miss Emma continued, "and instead of welcoming her, some of you chose to laugh at her and make her feel like she doesn't belong. Let me tell you something. Every single person in this room is different in their own way. That's what makes us special. She paused, letting her words sink in. Imagine how you would feel if someone laughed at you for being who you are. Would you like it? Miss Emma turned to Lotta, who was fidgeting in her seat. Lotta, you said something very hurtful today. Would you want someone to say that to you? Lotta shook her head, her face turning red. No, ma'am. Then why did you say it to Rosemary? Miss Emma asked. I don't know, Lotta mumbled. Miss Emma sighed. It's important to think before you speak. Words have power. They can hurt or they can heal. Let's choose to use our words to build each other up, not tear each other down. She looked around the room. I want each of you to take a moment and think about how your actions affect others. Rosemary is here to learn, just like the rest of you. She deserves respect and kindness. After Miss Emma's speech, the classroom was quiet. Then, one by one, the students began to apologize. I'm sorry, Rosemary, a boy said. Me too, another girl added. I shouldn't have laughed. Finally, a beautiful girl named Susan stood up and walked over to Rosemary. Rosemary, she said, her voice trembling. I'm the one who littered your desk. I thought it was funny, but it wasn't. I'm really sorry. I promise I'll never hurt you again. Rosemary looked at Susan, her heart pounding. For the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Thank you, she said softly. I forgive you. Susan smiled. Can we be friends? Rosemary nodded. I'd like that. For the first time since she arrived at the school, Rosemary smiled. A real, genuine smile. As the class settled down, Rosemary felt a warmth in her heart. She looked around the room and saw her classmates looking at her with kindness, not judgment. Miss Emma gave her a small nod as if to say, I told you so. That day, Rosemary learned an important lesson. Even in the hardest moments, kindness and understanding could make all the difference. And for the first time, she felt like she might belong after all. When Rosemary got home that day, her steps were light, and her face was glowing with happiness. She dropped her bag by the door and rushed into the living room where Ada and Cheeky were seated. Mommy, Daddy, you won't believe what happened today, she exclaimed, her green skin sparkling in the soft evening light. Ada put down the book she was reading and smiled. What is it, my darling? Tell us everything, Cheek said, setting aside his newspaper. Rosemary launched into the story, describing every moment of the day. She told them about how the students had littered her desk and laughed at her, how she had cried in the restroom, and how Miss Emma had comforted her and addressed the class. And then, Rosemary said, her voice growing more excited, Susan came up to me and apologized. She even said she wants to be my friend. Everyone apologized, Mommy. They said they were sorry for hurting me. Ada's eyes glistened with pride. Oh, my sweet girl, I'm so proud of you for being brave and forgiving them. Cheek nodded. You see, people just needed to get to know you, and now they've seen how special you are. Rosemary beamed. I think I'll be happy at school now. Later that evening, Rosemary sat on her bed and picked up her phone. She dialed Paul's number, eager to share her news. Rosemary, Paul answered, his cheerful voice filling the line. Hi, Paul, Rosemary said, smiling. I have so much to tell you. Paul chuckled. I'm listening. Rosemary recounted the events of the day, from the prank on her desk to Miss Emma's powerful speech and the apologies from her classmates. Paul, they apologized, she said, her voice filled with excitement. And Susan even said she wants to be my friend. That's amazing, Rosemary, Paul said. I told you everything would work out. I'm so happy for you. Thank you, Paul, Rosemary said. It feels good to finally feel like I belong. And you'll keep showing them how amazing you are, Paul said confidently. I will, Rosemary promised. From that day on, school became a place of joy for Rosemary. The other students began to accept her for who she was, and many even admired her unique appearance. She threw herself into her studies, excelling in every subject. Her teachers often praised her intelligence and dedication, and her classmates turned to her for help with difficult assignments. One day, during lunch break, Susan approached her with a flyer in hand. "Rosemary, have you thought about joining the music club?" Susan asked. "The music club?" Rosemary asked, tilting her head. "Yes, you have such a nice voice," Susan said. "I heard you humming the other day. You should join us." Rosemary hesitated. "I don't know. What if I'm not good enough?" "Don't be silly," Susan said, smiling. "You'll be great. Come to the meeting after school today, please?" Rosemary thought for a moment before nodding. "Okay, I'll come." After school, Rosemary nervously walked into the music club room. The space was filled with instruments, music sheets, and students chatting excitedly. "Welcome," said the club president, a tall boy named Cola. "You're Rosemary, right? Susan told us you were coming." "Yes," Rosemary said shyly. "We're happy to have you," Cola said warmly. "Do you sing or play any instruments?" "I like singing," Rosemary said. "Great. Let's hear you sing something," Cola said, gesturing toward the front of the room. Rosemary's heart raced as she stood in front of the group. Taking a deep breath, she began to sing a simple song she remembered from her childhood. Her voice was clear and sweet, filling the room with a melody that left everyone speechless. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. "Wow, Rosemary," Cola said. "You're incredible. We'd love for you to join the club." "Thank you," Rosemary said, smiling brightly. As weeks turned into months, Rosemary became an active member of the music club. She worked hard, practicing every day and building her confidence. One day, Cola called for a meeting to discuss an upcoming singing competition. "Our school has been invited to participate in a national singing competition," Cola announced. "We need someone to represent us." The room buzzed with excitement. "We've all decided," Cola continued. "Rosemary, we want you to be our representative." Rosemary's eyes widened. "Me?" "Yes, you," Susan said, clapping her hands. "You're the best singer in the club." "But what if I fail?" Rosemary asked nervously. "You won't," Cola said firmly. "We believe in you, Rosemary." With her friend's encouragement, Rosemary agreed to represent the school. The day of the competition arrived, and the venue was packed with students, teachers, and judges. Rosemary stood backstage, her heart pounding as she waited for her turn. "You've got this, Rosemary," Susan said, holding her hand. "Remember, be yourself," Cola added. When her name was called, Rosemary walked onto the stage, the bright lights shining down on her. She took a deep breath and began to sing. Her voice was magical, capturing the attention of everyone in the room. The audience was silent, hanging on to every note. By the time she finished, the entire hall erupted in applause. At the end of the event, the judges announced the winner. And the winner of this year's national singing competition is Rosemary Okoro. Rosemary's heart leaped as she walked onto the stage to receive her award. The judges handed her a trophy and a certificate for a full scholarship to one of the best universities in the country. "Congratulations, Rosemary," one of the judges said. "You have a bright future ahead of you." "Thank you so much," Rosemary said, tears of joy streaming down her face, bringing honor to her family. When Rosemary got home that evening, she found her parents waiting eagerly in the living room. "How did it go?" Ada asked, unable to hide her excitement. Rosemary held up her trophy and certificate. "I won!" Ada and Cheeky rushed to hug her, their faces beaming with pride. "Oh, my darling, we're so proud of you," Ada said. "You've brought so much honor to this family," Cheek added. Later, Rosemary called Paul to share the news. "Paul, I won," she said, her voice filled with happiness. "I knew you would," Paul said. "You're amazing, Rosemary. I'm so proud of you." "Thank you, Paul," Rosemary said. I couldn't have done it without everyone's support." From that day on, Rosemary became a source of inspiration to everyone around her. She had faced challenges, but with determination, kindness, and the support of her loved ones, she had overcome them all. And as she looked ahead to the future, she knew that this was just the beginning of her incredible journey.